way through by Satish Menon, who is on the call now, but will be doing the demo of version 8. Welcome, everyone. This session now is limited to 2 groups. Primarily, and the vast majority of the people here are existing Agiliron solution partners. There are a few folks here in attendance that are kicking the tires and are potential partners. They're in the QuickBooks ecosystem, and they are considering becoming partners, presumably. The first session will be, the first 25 minutes will be me doing some overview. Then Satish will do the product demo, the second part, and the third part will be 10 minutes for Q&A at the end. The desired outcomes are divided into the 2 groups. The existing partners, which is really the primary group that this is for, and then partner potentials. The existing groups, of course, it's my objective that you will see some things in this that excite you about the state of the product and the progress that it has now made, and that will translate immediately into zeal for selling it. There's also a bunch of new selling tools that we will be showing today that you may want to use. So I want to kind of give everyone an overview of those. For potential partners, this is really a bite at the iceberg. You'll get some information here, and I hope that there will be an increase in your desire to join in. However, I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about the partner program or rev shares or any of the details of that. If you are interested, email me at stan.roach@agiliron.com and we'll talk offline. But it's an opportunity for you to at least see the state of the software. What I am going to focus on today are who are the customers that are buying, what is the selling message that is resonating with people, what are the new selling tools that we have, and then a little bit on the product. And what I'm not going to focus on is the partner program, the bonus program, anything that's customer specific or pricing, simply because we don't have time to go into all these things. They are big, important topics. It's not that they're not important, it's just that we don't have time in this hour. So these are the 5 questions I hope to answer about the current product. Who are the customers? What's the selling message? So who are the customers? They are primarily retailers, wholesaler distributors, and light manufacturers. The retailers, I've left a little bit of space there because there's really several configuration of retailers. There's those that have a brick and mortar POS and they want to add an integrated web store. So it may just be one POS and one web store, but they want to have a common product, inventory, order management, CRM, managing both. And it turns out that is a weakness of current legacy POS systems, is the integration with a web store, much less if you add into that eBay or Amazon or a B2B web store or anything else. But just the act of having a physical point of sale and a web store nicely integrated, you know, is a big step. The second part of retailers is multi-store POS, and this is for people with 2 or more stores that need real-time simultaneous inventory and sales information without the overhead of syncing every day and some of the more antiquated methods of synchronizing multi-store data. The other way, of course, is to have a client-server system, but that comes with a lot of hardware cost and overhead maintenance cost that again, a legacy system may have, but SaaS, software as a service, cloud-based systems don't have to have. Mobile POS is sort of an emerging new category. This is for people that, say, have kiosks or, and this goes, Marilyn, to the point about your lead on that has a bunch of kiosks. We have several customers that have kiosks that maybe do trade shows or maybe do tent and table events, or there's a customer that has a boot truck that runs around to manufacturing locations and sells safety boots to the workers, and he has a big boot truck and he needs to know the inventory and the sales, and it's a complicated sale because the manufacturer, the local employer will pay a part of the cost of the safety boots, and the employee will pay a part. So you've got to have dual split payments, with one as a charge to and the other's a payment. So there's a lot of things in the mobile POS that are emerging that we are good at. And of course, there's a lot of retailers that have a little bit of all of these. They occasionally go to events. They do have a couple of stores, and they want to integrate with some kind of e-commerce. Then wholesalers we do well with, and largely because of two features we have. One is the B2B web store, which is great for creating a do-it-yourself ordering with customer-specific pricing and credit line management and multiple ship to and buy with a purchase order and all sorts of features that really are a natural outgrowth of having a web store and a CRM system integrated into one suite, because the data that you need to know that customizes the web store is contained in the CRM. So it's a matter of coming up with synergistic ways of creating value between those two things. The other is the warehouse management tool is particularly good for distributors and wholesalers, because the efficiency and the automation with which they run the warehouse, with which they receive goods and partial deliveries, and with which they do cycle counts, etc., is very important to them and to the thin margin business of wholesaling. The last is light manufacturers, which we do a fair amount of business with, simply because we have a sort of light MRP system, which is assembly products that have component goods that can be, the inventory for which can be managed, and they can go into several different assemblies. There's a bill of material for the finished good, and then there's work orders to go build them. So unless you're a large manufacturer and you need shop floor management or advanced scheduling, which are properties that a higher end MRP system would have, like MISIS, you know, for the vast majority of small and medium manufacturers, the MRP that we have with assembly, BOM, and work orders is more than sufficient. So what do this group have in common? Because there are some common threads. One is they all have inventory and they all sell product, and that's important, because when I go to the Intuit-centric trade shows, I wear a little lapel button that says, that Tim Grant gave me, that says, we love inventory, because there's a lot of people in the QuickBooks space that focus on the service sector, and that is not what we focus on. We are focusing on people with inventory and that sell product, and that's a subset of the world. We also focused on small and medium-sized businesses, and increasingly, because of the robustness of the product, we are inching upward to the upper end of small and the lower mid and mid-mid. And one of the reasons is, of course, the people in that sector more aggressively embrace their need for and their awareness of their need for help from solution partners. They know that they are jack of many trades. They are, jack of all trades, and they're a master of a few. But IT is not typically one of them, and so they are quick to outsource to. Oh, I see Tim's on the call. Sorry, I just looked over and I saw Tim Grant's name there. The other thing that these have in common is that these are customers who are wanting to grow and expand, and they realize that one of the ways that they can grow and can expand is by selling in more places. They just take the existing product they have that they're already managing, and there are people already buying that category in places that they're not selling. They just need to get there. And so getting there is a high priority because it's a high ROI effort, and they want to get there. And so that's a profile of our customer. And they generally know that the way to get there is generally to get there efficiently with any automation requires exploiting technology. And the last thing that our customers have in common is they're ready to make a decision. You can have high scores on all of these things and then they're 9 months away, and that doesn't help anybody. So, and this is one of the areas, interestingly enough, where the solution partners are extraordinarily useful because this set of factors, particularly these last three, are things that you only find out about if you know the prospect well enough and you ask some of the qualifying questions that help give you insight into those things. So what's the selling message? Well, the selling message has been the same now for most of the last year, which is to sell more and more places but manage in one. And that has worn well with people because everybody wants to sell more, and more places means more channels of sales. But manage in one is something that they all know. If they have tried to sell in more places, in more channels, they know it's difficult. They know that the integration requirements of stitching together best-of-breed siloed applications to achieve something crudely similar to managing in one is really hard. So this resonates with customers. The two problems that this solves is multiple sales channels and hodgepodge patchwork. Hodgepodge patchwork being the stitching together of otherwise disparate, though best-of-breed applications. And we've spent a lot of time with our partners talking about this. And I would really recommend, if you haven't already, that you again invest in periodically to reacquaint yourself with this language. Invest the 12 minutes to see the cartoon that is now at our website called Bob of Wacky Widgets. It's a 90-second cartoon, and it focuses on the problems that occur when you try to add more sales channels. And if you want to then understand it in an in-depth way, at our Learning Center, there's the three-minute videos that are not one big honkin' 9-minute video now, thanks to James's persistence. It explains in very, I think, clear and compelling detail, certainly adequate for talking with customers, why these problems of multiple sales channel and hodgepodge patchwork we solve, and why, if they don't use a SaaS multi-channel product, they're going to be destined to some problems. So here's the all-in-one suite, the 5 major channels: point of sale, B2C web store, B2B web store, Amazon, and eBay. We are going to be adding in the next 6 months FBA, fulfilled by Amazon, and both the POS and B2C web store, you will hear from Satish in version 8, are responsive, so they're very mobile ready. So the B2C, there's going to be something like 15 templates that are totally responsive, and that means that they look out at the device they're trying to be displayed on, and it automatically morphs and changes the size and sequence of the content to display properly, whether it's an iPhone or an Android tablet or an iPad or a monitor or a laptop. Okay, and so that allows our customers to tap in through their B2C websites into the growing mobile market. The point of sale will now operate also responsively on tablets as well as iPhone, and so this allows sales clerks to maneuver around a store or a kiosk or a mobile arena very fastly, and to kind of go to where the customer is. They call it, checking out by the side of the customer. So these are the 5 major channels, and the point is that all of the computing infrastructure for managing transactions, order management, inventory management, product master, the CRM, the ERP capabilities for POs and inventory are all in a centralized shared commerce backbone, okay, that serve the channels. So the latest sort of picture that we're using. There's another picture that we have added, which is this one, Agiliron, the all-in-one suite. And here you have the five major channels: POS, B2C web store, B2B web store, eBay, and Amazon. And they're depicted here as having a 4-lane, 2 lanes going both ways, a sort of pipe, digital pipe that goes into the centralized shared services and resources. And that's really the architecture. And if you don't have a system that is built like this from the very get-go, if you're trying to stitch it together by having a bunch of different apps, good luck, because you all know painfully from scar tissue that you probably already have, it doesn't work that well. Somebody says I'm breaking up. Huh. I'm hopeful that everybody can hear this okay. Okay, so let's talk about the immediate quarters and the coming up. The next 2 weeks, starting Tuesday of this week and running through the end of this month, are the major 2 weeks of the version 8 launch. There's about 16 new sales and marketing elements that are involved. I'm just looking in my notes here to find something. We have already released version 8 in very limited release to field validation testing, and we will release to the public at the end of the month. All new customers that are just starting will start with V8, so they won't know life before V8. We are not requiring that all existing customers switch to V8. If they are going into their big holiday season and they don't want to have any changes of any kind, they can stay on 7. There's one more release of 7.19 coming up. That'll be the last of the releases in the 7 series, but they can stay on that through the holidays. So we will forcibly switch everybody to 8 on February 1 if they haven't, but this gives them November, December, January if they don't want interruptions. The key thing, and this will be explained by Satish, is that all the new features that will be coming every few weeks in November and December and January are going into version 8. So we want as many of the current customers to convert to 8 as makes sense for them. Then we'll have another quarterly partner certification webinar in November. We always record those, and so those are available as recorded webinars for training purposes later. We have a bunch of new selling tools. We have 4 webinars that we're doing, and then there's a bunch of materials that have been built for the 4 webinars. There's actually 3 announcement emails, not 4, sorry. I'm going to be sending an announcement email to the installed existing partner base, then to installed customers in late month, right before it comes out, and to prospects late in the month. Then we have a new website that just came up this last couple of days. You can go to it. It's got a new multi-channel videos. There's 4 of them. There's the Wacky Widgets Bob one, and then there's the 3 threes that explain it. Then there is a new consulting call sign-up process that we ask prospects to do, and it's just a sign-up at my calendar. But we do ask that between the time they sign up and the time of the call, that they use the new, there's an onboarding video, an overview video, a point of sale video, and a web commerce video that are all, we've pretty much doubled the number of videos that we have now. There's 2 of them, the POS, this one, the new POS video, and the new webinar, the new web store video, that are mostly completed. They'll come up in the next couple of weeks, but all the rest of those are done and are there. So these are you going to send out this? Yes, this deck will be coming later today with the recorded webinar that you're watching. So you'll get this copy of the deck. You'll also get Satish's deck and a link to a landing page. There's a new landing page that is purely all covering the V8 material, the version 8 material. Okay, so what is the product? We have come to call the product, first and foremost, at its core, a commerce suite. Commerce because it does everything related to commerce, from orders to inventory to ERP, getting product, POs, vendor management, to taking orders from all the channels, fulfilling orders, the CRM, communication. But what's different is, of course, it's built around a multi-channel world, and that's increasingly becoming critical for growth and survival. And of course, it's SaaS, software as a service, or cloud-based, which gives it mobility. It gives it, you can be a mile wide and a mile deep, both, whereas in desktop software, you can't, it's very hard to be both. You can be a mile wide, but you tend to be an inch deep. Whereas in cloud-based software, because of the wherewithal that we're running on, you can have a lot of depth as well as breadth. And of course, all of this SaaS multi-channel commerce suite integrates with QuickBooks because we don't have our own accounting system. The world didn't need another accounting system. And there was already one that was the 900-pound gorilla in the market. So we integrate with both the desktop and the online versions of QuickBooks. There have been, from time to time, discussions, and they will continue, and we seek the input of our partners as far as when the time comes to support other accounting software. There have been some Sage 50 and Sage 100. There's been some Xero. There's been some Intact. So there's always a healthy discussion about which ones and when. But for the time being, and for the foreseeable future, there's plenty of market with the QuickBooks market. So you've seen this picture before that lists the multiple sales channels. There's both the offline channels, which is retail POS and mobile POS and direct order, which can either be field sales or telesales that are doing order entry. And then there's e-commerce things, which is either our B2C site or our B2B web store or the integration with marketplaces like Amazon or eBay. There are some customers, of course, who have already got a web store built, and so we do integrate. We have adapters for Shopify and BigCommerce that allow those web stores to plug into our back end, and we also have them for WooCommerce and Magento. So if you have a web store built with one of those four, we already have the adapter that lets it plug in. So that's the channel. Whoops, I better hurry up. This is the back office, the backbone, which is everything, all of the infrastructure, the shared resources that support the channels, and all of that together, the channels and the backbone of support in the back end, comprises Agiliron Suite, and of course it integrates then with QuickBooks. But this suite, as you know, has to live inside the commerce ecosystem, which has a lot of moving parts. So we have right now 6 integrations. You know about the integration with QuickBooks, which follows the Intuit Partner Platform API, and we integrate with Amazon and eBay, and with the shopping carts that we have the adapters for. And of course, we also integrate with the credit card processors, Intuit Payment Systems, Mercury Pay, PayPal, Authorize.net, and we are adding, which Satish will talk about in a bit, an EMV chip on the card processing with Mercury Pay. We also integrate with Agiliron and TaxCloud for those customers that need real-time tax rate lookups. And we integrate on the fulfillment side with ShipStation.com, which in turn integrates with the shipping suppliers, FedEx, and several of them. There's actually more than just these 3 here. But this will always be a requirement that we fit, because we're a commerce suite, inside a larger ecosystem. Here is version 8. This is a summary of the 8 major things. Of course, there's the new user interface, and we have worked diligently for months and months on this, and Satish will be demoing it, and it'll continue to get tweaked and enhanced, and so send your comments in. The responsive web stores, there will be 15 templates that support responsive web stores. The responsive POS is critical. Having the offline POS is very strategic for the brick and mortar world, so that your POS can continue to work even if your internet is disconnected. There's a long list of POS features, many of which have come in over the last year, but there's another batch that has just come in with version 8. The warehouse management app is very strategic for efficiency and automation in the warehouse management end of the business. The new learning center is a search-based learning center that will, by the end of the month, have another 1,200 screenshots of version 8, replacing all the version 7.1, 7.18 screenshots. And it has all of the videos are there. There's something like 18 videos. And we will be supporting the new EMV chip on a card, and we also have a new POS hardware store that Satish will talk about. So this is just a quick snapshot of the user interface, which is much easier, faster, and more productive. This is the new response. There's both B2B and B2C. And the POS is responsive, which gives mobility to every element of offline selling. So call me or email me or go to the website and schedule an appointment, which you can do anytime now. And with that, I will segue to our founder and CEO, Satish Menon, who will present as soon as I find that thing to click on and make presenter that thing. That should give us Satish. No, Marilyn, we will not. I will be around because I live in the Bay Area, but that's it. Sorry.
Okay, thanks, Stan. So the second half of this webinar is going a little bit more into depth on some of the pieces of V8 that Stan just talked about. So we'll look at the user interface demo for the CRM and the back office. We'll walk through some of the things that's coming in the POS, what's happened near term, and then what's coming pretty soon here, including the hardware portal. We'll talk about the e-commerce stores, the new responsive themes. We'll look at some of the new stuff in the warehouse management app and the customer migration plan, followed by what's coming in the first half of 2016. So when it comes to the back office next generation UI, one of the key pieces is obviously the responsive aspect. We've heard that mentioned by Stan many times, and this is obviously an important goal across the entire platform. While keeping that in mind, we've also taken steps to, change the layout, make things more interactive, add more usability features, so on and so forth. And when it comes to interactivity, one of the elements there is that third bullet, which is the in-place editing. So now when you are looking at a list of things, whether that's products or accounts or whatever, you actually have the ability to edit things in line, which didn't exist in our 7. version. You also have the ability for users to customize the data panels, the order in which they view them. They can collapse the ones that's not important to their particular job, those types of things. So there's a lot of personalization that can be done there. And then the last bullet talks towards the compatibility. So while there is extensive changes when it comes to the user interface, the basic business workflows and the processes underlying it do not change. So if you're doing, a certain business workflow in a certain way, that's not going to be impacted by the UI change. So let's jump in and look at a demo of this. So this is the login screen. It's a little bit different than what we have now. This is a placeholder image that will change over time. It's meant to be a place that we can provide announcements, alerts, feature, highlighting certain features, those types of things. So I'll go ahead and log in. And this is the layout of the new user interface. So we'll start on the left panel here and make our way around the different controls. So on the left panel here is the list of modules that we have. So leads, potentials, accounts, and contacts is customers. Products has certain sub-modules, which you can find by expanding that plus icon over there. And so under products, you have vendors and price books. And similarly, under orders, you might find sales orders, POs, sales returns, and so on. So left panel is where you see all the modules. This list can be customized for a user depending on what they will use and what's not relevant. And you can certainly reorder these things as well. That's all part of the customization that the system provides. At the bottom, there is a little icon here, which if you click, it actually collapses that left panel to make it smaller. So if you're on a smaller device like an iPad or something, you can collapse this and get a little bit more workspace. In addition, if you want that left panel to completely go away, you can go click on this collapse menu up here, and then that pulls that thing completely off to the side. Okay. So that's all essentially meant to allow you to get the workspace that you need to do what you need to be doing in this particular area. My account up here allows you to access your profile, mail, calendar, those types of things. This is a access to messages, notifications, staff, those types of things. This is not implemented completely yet, but will be coming soon, hopefully by end of the month. Recently viewed, this is where you would find the entities that you have recently accessed and done something with in the system. Right now we support up to 10 of these, so you can go back to the last 10 things that you might have touched. On the new menu here, you have the ability to create the various new entities that you might want to do. So whether that's a customer, or whether it's a product, or whether it's an order, this is the place that you go to essentially create those new entities. Up here on the top is global search, and so here you can type a keyword, and the system will run across all the modules that you that might have that keyword, and essentially come back with a list of all the ones that it finds. This is settings, and this provides access for business customization. The list of things that you can do here has not changed. It's the same that we support in 7. From a customization standpoint at the business level, same set of features. This is help, and this is access to the learning center that Stan was talking about. So this is the one that is now very much anchored around search. It has all the videos that we currently have. So there's an expanded set of these that has been released, and they're all available here all in one page. And then at the top is the menus that you can use to go into specific topics and such. This is a full screen button, so if you wanted to kind of get rid of the browser controls and stuff like that, you can use that and then work on the entire screen. And then the last button here is log out. Okay, so let's go into one of these modules. So I'll go into products. And this is the new list view that we have. It's something that you find across the entire system because, variety of different places, we want to display a list of things. So when it's products, we're displaying a list of products. When it's customers, we're displaying a list of accounts and so on. And so anywhere you have this list, this is the presentation that, we will have. And so a few key features here, paging controls at the top and the bottom, right? When you do page across to the next, you'll see that it does not refresh the entire page, but it's just refreshing the contents of that spreadsheet. So this is good from a performance standpoint because it's less network traffic going back and forth. The number of items per page, you can change that on the fly. In the current 7 version, you had to create a custom view and all that kind of stuff to do that. Here now you can do this on the fly. Now that doesn't mean that this change is saved. So if you still want to have a saved version, then you do need to create that custom view and save it off. But if you're just doing something on the fly, you can just do it here. All of these columns now have a menu, okay, that allows you to do sorting. It also allows you to do filtering. And this filtering can be done, you can select various operations from equal to starts and contains and things like that. And you can apply up to a 1 Boolean operation, which is you can combine 2 filters together, okay. So as an example, if I say, show me everything that starts with a USB, and I run a filter on that, I'll get the products that start with USB, okay? And then, of course, I can go back and clear this filter. So since this is available in every column, you can actually apply these things one after the other and, narrow the results and so on, okay? So the search and filtering capability is obviously far more sophisticated in this version. And this is available, like I said, in every column. These buttons here, this is for inline editing. This is for delete. And then this is for edit all, which is similar to the edit that we have in our current 7 version, which is that gives you the complete form, and you can go and make changes to all the various fields. At the bottom, just like in our current version, there's import and export, and this is there in the various modules as well. Okay. Now let me click on accounts, and we'll look at the customer list. Okay, looks somewhat similar. Different columns, but essentially the set of operations and what's possible is the same. Okay. Example, let's do an inline editing. I'll change the city. Okay, and I'll save that. Okay. And so you can do this now, right here, as opposed to going to the form, making changes, doing save, and coming back, right? When it comes to accessing the account information, you can click on the account name and get a read-only view of what the current settings are, or you can click Edit All, in which case you get the form with all the fields, and you can make changes to it. Okay, so let me click on one of these. And you can see here, this is a presentation of all the data related to this particular account. Okay, it's organized in different panels by different categories of information. In addition, there are these tabs across the top that connect to all the related pieces of information. So for this customer, if you click on sales orders, you would get all the orders that have arrived from this particular customer. Okay. When it comes to these panels themselves, you can set different colors to the title bars. You can collapse them. Okay, so if there's pieces of panels here that are not relevant to a particular user, they can collapse them, in which case they don't see them. Okay. If you wanted to move these panels around, so let's say, for example, you created some custom fields, and those were the most important pieces of information you wanted to see at the top, you can actually move these panels around. So I could take this and I could drag and drop and essentially reorganize them. So all of these changes in terms of the data, how it's ordered, which ones you want to see, all of the stuff is something each user can do, and all the settings that they make in that particular module is saved off in the database. And next time they come back and access an entity within that module, they'll get back exactly this view that they left off with the changes that they made. Okay. So those are some of the key elements of what is in V8 from a user interface standpoint. Now, when it comes to edit, I can click this and I get that similar form to what we have now, except presented a little bit better. And here again, you can reorganize this list, right? So you can change the order in which these things are in these data panels and so on and so forth. Okay, so that's the quick review of the back office user interface. So let me switch back to the foils here. Okay, so now switching to the point of sale, some new features that we've added. Some of these are already out. The first being the multi-screen wizard for point of sale for smartphones. A picture of that is something that you see here on the right. So with the point of sale on desktops or laptops and on tablets, it's a one-screen user interface where you can pretty much do everything there. With smartphones, we've gone to a wizard-based model where there are 4 steps, and that's to essentially support the form factors and what's possible on that screen size. So on the first step here, you can select a customer if you want to, and then add all the different products. In the second one, you can put in discounts, make notes, those types of things. And then on the third step, you complete the payment, and then on the fourth step, you complete the checkout, print the receipt, and so on. Okay, so this is available now. You can go to the iTunes store, you can download the app, and it works both on iPhones and iPads. POS offline, it's a capability that we did release many weeks ago, but we have continued to evolve it and harden it and so on, because it's obviously a key piece in situations where you lose an internet connection. So Square, for example, had a big outage 2-3 days ago where they were down for a couple of hours. And so it's to essentially support those types of scenarios where, if you have a use case where internet connection goes down, or you need to accept transactions at a place where access is not available, you can still continue to operate the POS in the offline mode. The persistence of that data is something that we really hardened to take care of scenarios where, let's say, your iPad battery dies, or the browser goes away, or all of that kind of stuff. So it's a pretty robust capability at this standpoint, and certainly something that provides peace of mind, especially in a retail environment where you want to have that availability all the time. Some of the performance improvements that we've done at startup during customer selection, reports, etc., it will be rolling out, and this has mainly been something that's come up in the context of customers that either do large numbers of transactions per day or have an enormous number of SKUs, like tens of thousands of them. And so we've taken steps to really reduce the amount of time that it takes in those types of scenarios down to a few seconds. Some features that's coming in version 8, substring search. So if you're searching by product name, and let's say you have a product called All Tech Speakers USB, and you search by USB, in the current version, it wouldn't come up. Whereas now with the substring search, it will pop up in the list that the search comes back with. For matrix items, these are products that are organized by attributes like size and color and stuff like that. We do have support for what's called a matrix SKU code now, which is a unique code for each SKU. And so if you use that feature, then now you can search by that in the point of sale as well. Okay. And then there's support for line item notes that's coming as well. Here's an example. You can click on this pencil icon here, and it'll allow you to add a note to every line item in the order. So this might make sense if you're taking custom orders, or if you wanted to make some specific note for a specific customer, those types of things. And that does print onto the receipt as well. Okay. POS hardware portal. So one of the things that we have heard a lot about is the fact that we don't provide a single place that somebody can go to in terms of the hardware that's supported, and what that list is and so on. While we've provided a list, it was really up to the user or the partner to go up and get these things. So we have addressed that with version 8. We have a new portal that's available that includes the complete list of supported hardware. So let me give you a look at that. So if you go to our website now, under the products tab, you will see there's a link for POS hardware. Okay, and if you click that, it takes you to a point of sale portal, hardware portal. It's done in collaboration with a company called POS Portal. Okay, and if you scroll down here, you'll see a couple of bundles there, one for the iPad, one for the PC. And if you go click on this bundle, see more bundles and accessories, you'll get the complete list of things. So they're organized by categories. So all the ones for the tablets or card readers or printers or whatever, all the supported stuff is listed here. There are 3 bundles here: PC, iPad, and for the Mac. Okay. So if I go into the PC bundle, you can see it includes, the standard things, the printers and scanners and card readers and so on. If you go into one of these categories, let's say the card readers, you'll see all the listed card readers, including the ones for the iPads as well as the ones for the desktops. Okay. So if I go back to bundles and let's say we add one of these to the cart, you'll see that there are 2 modes to check out here. One is you can buy, pay the full amount and buy it, or you can actually finance it over a period of 24 months. Okay, so both approaches are available. But if you have any questions about any of the stuff, there is an 800 number here that you can call, and somebody will be happy to help with, answer questions about the hardware and so on. So that's the POS portal. Now, one thing I should show you is here, there is the URL here is partner.pos portal, and then there's an Agiliron followed by an Agiliron. Okay, and the reason for that is that you as a partner could get your own version of the site, if you were interested in doing that. So you can get your own branded portal, okay, with your logo, and then your business here being replaced with the name of your business. Okay. So it would be a unique URL that's specific to you. And the reason for doing this is obviously that, this has your own branded presence, but also any spiffs on the customer purchases, which POS Portal does provide something, it goes to you if anybody goes to your portal and makes that purchase. So, so if you're interested in getting one of these, it'll basically be a clone of the site that I just showed you with exactly the same hardware pieces, etc., but with obviously the URL and the logo being the one that comes from you. So if you're interested in that, so you can send me an email, send us an email at pos-portal@agiliron.com, and then we can essentially work with you to get that one set up. Okay. So the new device support that's coming, there are a couple of devices. One for the iPad and iPhone, which is the MagTech iDynamo. This is for credit card swipers that plugs into the Lightning connector on the iOS devices. This is the power jack. And this was something that supports end-to-end encryption so better security. So from the moment that the card is swiped to the information going to the payment processor, everything is encrypted. The second one here is the Deja Vu Z11, which will be the first of the EMV devices that we support, and a picture of that is something you can see here. So this includes support for swipe. It includes a PIN pad for debit cards. It includes support for the card disk in the case of an EMV chip card, and then it also supports NFC contactless. So this is one where it's within the proximity of the device that it automatically picks it up. So with this type of a device, the payment processing flow changes a little bit, where there's less interaction between the point of sale and this terminal when it comes to processing. Whereas what's going to happen is that the POS will send the amount information to the terminal. The customer will be the one that swipes or enters this information, and then the terminal will communicate directly with the payment processor. Okay, so the flow is a little bit different. But it'll be somewhat similar to what you find in larger glossary stores and so on. The EMV support is coming. So this device is EMV level 1 and level 2 compliant and certified, and then the level 3 certification comes from the payment processor, which is what we're waiting on at this point. So as far as Mercury Pay is concerned, they will support the cost of these devices all the way to December, end of December. So if you are somebody that is already a partner with Mercury, have clients on it, then reach out to your sales rep, and they'll work with you to cover the cost of these devices and get these to you. With the e-commerce stores, the responsive themes have been trickling out over the last few releases. With version 8, there'll be a total of 15 new designs. And it will essentially begin the process of phasing out all the old designs. So certainly if a customer is on one of the old designs, we are not going to make the move. We'll continue to support it. But for any new stores being created or any new customers creating new channels, will not allow basically the selection of any of the old designs and then restrict it to the new designs that are available. With B2B stores, we do have now support for a single-page product selection, which is a use case for reorders, where say the businesses place orders for the same products time and time again, and instead of going through the shopping cart flow where they go pick one product, add it to the cart, and back and forth, this gives them a single page. It's a spreadsheet. They just enter the order quantities, click Add to Cart, and they can complete the checkout. Okay. Warehouse app, version 1.3 is in the iTunes store now. It supports picking, receiving, cycle counts. A picture of it is what you see here. This is a tool that works in the offline mode most of the time, except for these 3 touch points where there's a connection back to the cloud. So you click on sync products from back office, pull product information down to your app. You click the orders, pull those things down. Then you can go into the app and essentially do all the things that you want to do in the warehouse. And then when you're done, you come back and you say sync updates back to the cloud, and then it pushes all the changes. So that's the way this works. It's a nice tool, very specifically geared to specific warehouse management workflows. And as of version 1.3, we do support partial receiving. There have been a lot of performance and improvements, especially as it relates to businesses with large numbers of SKUs. This is an enterprise edition only tool, so you will need to be on that particular edition to be able to use it. By end of October, there will be another version, 1.4, which is working its way through Apple's approval process, and that includes several navigation and usability improvements. So this is mostly being driven by feedback that we received from customers in terms of number of clicks and navigation and those types of stuff. And so we've improved things a lot in that area to make it even more streamlined in terms of the workflow. Okay. So as far as V8 process, Stan already talked about this a little bit. So new customers will go on to V8 starting end of October. So whether that's a trial or whether they sign up as a new customer, they will get V8 automatically. Existing customers will leave a window between end of October and February 1st, where they will get V8 only if they request it. They need to email us at support@agiliron.com and request that change. Otherwise, they'll stay on 7.19, which will be the last release in that generation, and all the way up to February 1, at which point everybody will be automatically migrated. And obviously, the rationale for this is that it's in the middle of holiday selling season, and we don't want to be disruptive to that particular focus. The only caveat here is, after 7.19, all new features will only be on V8. So if you stay on 7, then between end of October and February 1, you will not see any new features being added. So what's coming in the first half of 2016 is a few big modules. One is advanced business intelligence. So this has become a fairly critical feature, especially as we sell to larger businesses, where management reporting and the ability to do formulas and logic and better charting and those types of things have become important. And so we have addressed this with a completely different module than the one that we currently have. And this is, it's reporting, it's charting, all of those things. And I think it'll be a huge leap in this particular area. Amazon FBA, this is about moving inventory between your warehouse and FBA and the processes around that. Pay invoice is the ability for you to email a customer an invoice and have them click a link and pay for it. Usability workflows. So this is addressing typical things that users do, which is a little bit cumbersome right now in certain cases, and so organizing some of those so that it's a very step-by-step process. Multi-currency. It should be obvious what that is, and then developer API enhancements. It's a broad system, lots of modules. Our API coverage right now in some of them is not good enough, and so we'll continue to improve that. So that's it. I think we have about 3 or 4 minutes for a Q&A. So let me see if there's any questions here too. Okay, so let's see. Yes, so H means first half of 2016. Though most of them, James, that I talked about there, I think are things that should be coming in Q1. Okay, any other questions? Okay, Stan, any last thoughts?
I just realized the things I said were being dutifully muted. All of the 2 decks and the recorded webinar will be emailed to all attendees, which is a subset of all registrants for this webinar. So that'll come out later today. I think that's the end of this presentation. Thanks everyone for coming. Look forward to everyone's involvement with V8.
All right. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.